Let's see. Are we live? We are live. Welcome, everyone, to our daily success call for Thursday, the 14th of April, 2022. John Lavinia here with you and some of my favorite peoples in the universe. I see Eddie, of course. There's Alec. There's Shannon Lewis. Hey, Shannon. There's Lynn over in Perth, 1 o'clock in the morning. Here's a bunch of other people without their cameras on. There's more people tuning in. Welcome, you guys. We're going to go ahead and get started. Here we go. So the topic came up, a couple of topics: shiny object syndrome, procrastination, and the art and science of taxes. Since tomorrow possibly is tax day in the United States. I don't know. And so Eddie had a comment about, well, oh, you run 4 businesses. How is it you don't know that? I was like, well, I pay accountants. They know that. Right. Don't talk to me about taxes. Don't talk to me about spreadsheets. Don't talk to me about technical problems. Right. I know what I know. And right there's our topic. There's our topic right there. So I want to talk with you all a little bit about, see if we can combine all of this into one thing: shiny object syndrome, overcoming procrastination, and dealing with, business logistics. Let's see if we can combine all of that into one topic today. And I can, because I got lots of words, right? I got nouns, I got verbs, I got all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to give you, here's my take on all this. Okay. So there was a time when, has anyone ever heard the phrase, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself? Yeah, right. And so that was kind of drilled into me at a young age by people who also weren't getting stuff done right. But anyway, that was their mantra. And so I guess the alternative was, don't get it done, or whatever. Hope that other people do for you what you're not willing to do for yourself. So I developed a sense of self-reliance in that way, which I think is good and right. And if we look around the world today, we can find that there are, the self-starters, the self-determined people, entrepreneurs, people who are not waiting for it to happen to them, but making it happen. I celebrate that person, right? By the way, you guys are all included in that, right? Here you are making something happen. So well done. Glad you're here. But there's also a trap in that. And the trap is that if everything that needs to get done by you, well, how much you is there to go around? That's a great question. So we get into a position where a lot of people have called this overwhelm, right? So that's one way to look at it. Really, it comes down to a state of confusion, right? So let's say you've got all of these different, particles moving around. Let's say, you guys ever seen one of those booth? You go into a booth. It's like a booth with like air that blows in, and there's it's like a casino kind of a thing where you can grab, the tokens or the dollars or whatever's flying around, and however many you can grab as they're flying around in the wind tunnel, right? You get to keep the money, right? So it's kind of a fun bit. But that, if you can imagine life being like that, like every day, and it's not, it's not like you get to scoop up the money that lands on the floor. Okay. But like reaching for all these, and it's confusing because everything's in motion, right? And trying to get so much done. But are you going to collect more than you leave on the floor? No, of course not. You're going to leave a lot of money on the floor. And then you start again tomorrow and you collect a little bit and more money stays on the floor. Right. So if you could picture that as a metaphor, so the metaphorical, money grabbing booth or whatever, so there's a limit to how many places your hands could be at a given time and how quickly you can react. Do you know where that particle, that piece of paper is going to fly next? You don't. I mean, you can maybe figure out some patterns if you've got a lot of experience with that sort of thing. But the whole idea is that it's random. It's random movement. Okay. So then you think, I need a system. And you do. You need a system. Systemization is good. In fact, any of you who are into the great philosopher James Allen, he wrote a book called The 8 Pillars of Prosperity. It's one of the ones that we've reviewed in my book study group. And in that book, system is one of the pillars, one of the main pillars, right? So having a system, systemization. So what does that allow you to do? That allows you to get more done in less time. However, as this self-reliant person, which is good and right, Okay. You think that you need to be the one to figure out the systems, or you succumb to what we just talked about briefly, shiny object syndrome, right? So there are other things that are being shown to you, which somehow will eliminate your confusion and cause order and prosperity in your life when you simply give money and then click the magic easy button or whatever. Now, if that was real, let's say back to our metaphor of the wind tunnel thing, right? If that was real, well, then we would be able to de-randomize the movement in that tunnel, and then yes, it would be much more orderly. However, what we find is a lot of the times, if you've already, or let me say this, if you haven't already become competent to a point of excellence in the specific task that you're doing, trying to diversify would be like chasing the shiny objects, right? In other words, we've got to have, to solve any confusion, we've got to have something stable. Okay, so let's say you were going to a new land, you're Columbus or something, right? And you think you're going to the West Indies or India or something, right? And so you land on the rock, and you suddenly have false data, right? Here's the confusion about where you actually are. Now, once we can identify, oh, this rock is called America. Oh, okay, got it. Right now we can say with accuracy, right? Let's put in systems and stuff like that. I know I'm a little bit, hopefully you're tracking with me here, but we have to build on something stable, which is you. Okay. So you've got to be stable in something before you can diversify. All right. So chasing shiny objects typically is a fool's errand. Okay. If you haven't already stabilized something about yourself and your approach and your operations. Now, the other word that came up was procrastination. What is procrastination? Procrastination is a demonstration of what? Indecision. Okay. So talking about stability, the word decision is closely related to that, because a decision is a cutting off point where we can now say this, I've now decided this is the rock upon which I shall build my business. That's a decision. All right. Without that, more instability. And what do we know about indecision? It is the bane of many an entrepreneur. You don't even have to be an entrepreneur. The bane of many people, right? Well, maybe, right? I'll try, or I'll think about, hopefully something will happen that will then prompt me to do something else. All of that is BS. It's all considerations, not action, not decisive, not a rock. Okay. We're looking for a rock here, something stable. So you can see where chasing solutions that you still don't have control of, and not building yourself up to a point of competence and excellence is that exercise in futility. So what's the answer here? What's the answer? How do you get out of the trap of, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself? Well, I'll tell you what, guys, this is a big one to swallow. For me, it has been. I'll just say for myself. Any of you read The Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki? It's one of the books I recommended to you all. I see Eddie's got his hand up. I see, I can't see too many people at once. Oh, Sparkle McFarkle's here. Oh my God. Hi, Chris. Sparkle McFarkle. Hey, Arlene's holding it up. Hey, Arlene. Wow, you guys. We got a few more people on camera. Let's go to gallery view. Yeah. All right. So I could see everybody who's on camera at once. That's great.
Hello.
All right. Hello, Arlene. So in that book, he talks about 4 quadrants, quadra 4, right? So 4 quadrants that people approach, business or life, survival, making money, right? And the first one is the employee, which is very common, which isn't terribly self-determined. It's you are subject to the corporate agenda or whatever you enrolled in, and you have no leverage, right? You are the leverage for the other guy who runs the business, right? So that's the employee. It's very linear. It can be quite laborious. You have no leverage. Okay. The next quadrant is the self-employed, much more control, much more self-determinism, potentially much greater income, but still very little to no leverage. Laborious, right? You put in the work, you get out the money, right? So that's the self-employed person, which is a big jump for a lot of people, right? Especially if they've lived for years or decades dependent on, whatever it was they were doing to survive. All right. Working there 40 to 80 hours a week or whatever. The third quadrant is the business builder, the business owner, the bigger business, right? So self-employed is certainly a business, but now we're getting into leverage. Now we have the delegation of tasks, which, and hopefully to people who are better at it than you, right? And I'm not going to get into a conversation about hiring. In my companies, we've got employees who are better than I am at stuff. Okay. My wife and I run a branding and marketing agency. We've got like artists and web designers and stuff. Don't ask me about design, right? If I'm designing the logo, it's going to look like a heavy metal band every single time. Every single time. In fact, if I think it looks good, it's probably crap. All right. So if you want to use me for my opinion, if John likes it, it sucks. Right. When it comes to art. Okay. I once paid $7,000 for a logo. I don't even use it anymore. But anyway, so the bigger business owner, right, has now the ability to delegate to people, and you're going to hire and fire some people. I got it. Okay. But now we've got assistants, especially in the modern times. You've got not shiny objects, but people who are, hey, I'm the video editing guy and I love doing this stuff. And my goodness, and I'm going to work for, pennies compared to what these videos could make you when you use them for marketing or whatever, right? So I'm the guy with the mouth, right? You're the guy with the video editing software. Once I had, because I run a Mac, I'm on a Mac computer here, and Mac is known for its, creative software and lots of stuff that's built into, right into the operating system. Doesn't cost you anything extra. There's iMovie and, different things you can do. But I remember when Apple was coming out with the new version of Final Cut Pro 10. And it looks sexy. It's really nice. It's so powerful. And oh my goodness, look at the controls, and it's great. And I thought about buying it. They're practically giving it away. It was like $200 or something. Not even, maybe 100. I don't even know. And I thought, no, there's no way I'm buying this, because I looked at the manual, which is all online, right? But if you were to print it out, it would be that thick. No, I'm out. Because you know what I would do? I'm one of those guys that reads the manual front to back twice. Okay. So what would that effectively do? That would take me out of business.
I have the old one.
Oh, look at that. Wow. Okay. So John buying that software for $200 or whatever the price was would destroy my business. Why? Because there's income producing activities, and then there's learning stuff, good and right. Yes, learn stuff. That's good. Better, stronger, faster. I like it. But what was the my cost benefit analysis on that? The opportunity cost of that, a manual this thick, I'm out. Okay. Spectacular software. I'm sure it's friggin' awesome. And guess what? There's people who know it. They know it and they work for cheap. Right? They can't get a gig in Hollywood. And, that's kind of a closed door. And, they're over in, the Philippines or in India or wherever. And they just want some action, right? Well, here, I got action, right? Here, edit my talking head videos, podcast stuff, right? So as shiny as that object was, right, it didn't fit into the quadrant of the business owner. Right? Yeah, I can learn that stuff myself. I'm sure I can edit videos myself. I know how to use Camtasia and, iMovie and whatever. Okay, that's fine. That's software. That's video editing software for marketers. Okay, that's not Final Cut or Adobe Premiere. And holy crap, it's we're gonna do Star Wars or something. No, right? So there's some decisions that are made to escape that. If you want something done right, do it yourself. And it comes down to valuing time at least as much as you value money. Here's the trick. Okay. So as the employee, you value money more than time. You're trading your life for money. Okay. Here's my time. You give me money. Good news is that it's fairly predictable. I don't know about job security. That's kind of an interesting one these days, but that's the paradigm, right? Is that money is worth more than your time. The self-employed person, control control is the thing, and control equals profitability, right? The more you can control your business and the situations that you engage in as a self-determined person, the more money you could make or lose, right? I mean, you get to play both sides of that. All right. When we get into the third quadrant of the business builder, there is the evaluation of time being worth at least as much, probably more than the money. You let me exchange some money and get some leverage, okay? Because you're better at doing this than I am. You're hired, okay? And then I get to do what I'm really good at. You see, we've got a rock here that we're building on. I'm really good at this. And I know that I'm not good at that. In fact, I'm not interested. I don't even want to learn it, right? So when Eddie asked about accounting, look, I've got a killer accountant. Awesome. And I pay them thousands of dollars to never have to look at that stuff. I don't want to. Does it make me money to look at that? No, my skills are not in that area, nor am I willing to learn. My skills are in this area. Okay. And they can't do what I do. No way. Right. You guys know there's an entire sub industry within the whole, online business space called affiliate marketing. And affiliate marketing, very different than print on demand e-commerce. So affiliate marketing is where you generate websites and drive traffic and do all this stuff for the purpose of getting the traffic to an offer or offers, plural. And it could be such and such, product, which, the traffic would be interested in. And they click, and then you get a commission, right? When they buy that product. This is also known as like a cost per acquisition model, where you essentially get paid when people convert from traffic into customer. Okay. Now I know some brilliant affiliate marketers that I would never put in front of an audience, like, talking and stuff, microphone cap. No way. No. Make sentences in public. No. Now they're great with, with their thing, right? Which I'm okay, but it's not my bag, right? Personally, I love the conversation of, the spoken word and interacting with people and running groups like this. I love it. This is my thing. Other people, don't put them in front of an audience, So different strokes, right? But here's the trick, guys. And Bob Proctor, the late Bob Proctor, said, John, you want to develop your strengths and manage your weaknesses. So how do we do that, guys? We develop our strengths. All right. So build a rock out of yourself. Become excellent at something. Okay. And then manage your weaknesses via the strengths of others. Don't chase a million different things. Okay. But manage your strengths or manage your weaknesses using other people's strengths. That's how you get leverage. So no, you don't want a mirror, a clone, although sometimes I do think it would be really cool if I had a few more of me to run around. I obviously think a lot of myself, but no, you don't want a mirror. You want other experts. Here's my accountant. Thank you for being awesome at that. They're thrilled with spreadsheets and like 70,000 page, US tax code. They love that stuff. Just don't show it to me. Right. The fourth quadrant was the investor that Kiyosaki talked about. So we got the employee, the self-employed, the business owner, and the investor. The investor is totally hands-off. And my intention for you all is that you become successful in the self-employed and business quadrants to the point where, now you can go ahead and put these dollars or pounds or euros or whatever to work for you, because there's only two ways to make money in the whole world. The first way is people working. That's called labor, right? That's either you or it's the leverage you're getting through employees or whatever. So people working, that's one way to make money. The other way is money working. So that's money going and having little baby monies and proliferating and what do people invest in? People invest in things that will bring increase, right? So here's Arlene, right? And she's got this enterprise that she took public, and there's shares that I can buy. And I think Arlene's awesome. So let me buy stock in Arlene because she's awesome and competent, and she's going to go increase my investment. I don't know her business. She knows her business, right? Here, have some money. Go be awesome, right?
Busy is my business right now.
Well, we got to work on
it. I really like it.
Okay. Okay. Well, understand there's a difference between busyness and business, right? So hopefully production is happening, statistics, right? Production is the whole basis of your morale. So if you find yourself overwhelmed or in busyness,
Very
then
true.
right, then we got to find some way to have some wins. Um, right. So how long have I been talking? My goodness. I'll stop now. Eddie, you've got your hand up. Hey, Eddie, did I make any sense? I hope so. Something had to make sense that came out of my mouth. Let's get Eddie out here.
Well, John, you eloquently let us know that you know a lot. I mean, you do because you experience a lot. And one of the powerful things you said when we talked about accounting, well, I don't deal in that. I have somebody to handle that. Now that's the level. I got friends that talk like that, and they do have that. They got an association of people that handle like taxes, whatever it is. They always send a letter to somebody or call them on the phone. I need you to do so and so. Now, one thing I learned, because I heard somebody make a comment, Eddie knows everything. No, I don't. What I do is I had so much shiny object syndrome stuff that I heard John say he'll read the whole manual. And that was me. I just wanted to know stuff. And I read so much, but that's years ago when I found, but that's really where procrastination breeds, trying to know everything. And I've got some psychology friends, and I read enough psychology books and all of them. And procrastination has got to be the top 5 problems that people bring to psychologists. How come I'm not doing what I know I need to be doing? So I learned this. What I learned is, first of all, you want to get to know some people that have already done some things, and you want to know some failures too. Because, I know some people that's been on the way down the bottom in homeless land. And I know some people that's making so much money that it just stuns me to be walking around in their houses. And the reason you want to do this because you're getting yourself into a position to be where you're trying to go. Where are you trying to go? That's all the universe is asking of you. What do you want? What kind of business do you want? What kind of people you want to be associating yourself with? And see, like I listen to John because he's talking about running 4 and 5 businesses. Because I have 4 and 5 businesses in my mind, but I say now, wait a minute. So I know why I'm here, because that person there, Karen, said something. She runs 4 businesses. I'm going, woo. So it can be done. And so I'm not crazy. So I'm thinking about make this one right here, this LHS work, because I do have skill sets in this area that I want to use and exploit and ideas. Get this one to work and then move on to these other areas. That's called clarity. And that's what you want. There's nothing wrong with confusion and frustration and overwhelm. You just don't want to stay there. You want to manage that. And that's all, I'm talking about mind stuff. I am appreciating the fact that I do know a lot of things. I used to not. I said, it's all just going to run crazy. No. You got what you asked for. You want to know a lot. Now you do. And see, when I tell people I got it out of comic books, they say, wait a minute, you are out your mind. No. Do you? And I don't want to get into that. That will take me on a tangent. But yes, those comic book ideas, those stories, everything is a story. Everything. What story are you telling? Because that's how you deal with what's going on up here. I can imagine John going, okay, I'm going to get on this call here now. What are we going to talk about? I'm going to get in there and listen to them. And he heard everybody talking and he said, that's it. I'm going to take these ideas and make a speech out of it. That's what he did. It came off clarity, because he probably gets here going, well, I've got 1,000 things in my mind. And he said, wait a minute, they just talked about 3 of them. And now he go there and he said, oh, presto. You're making it simple. Keep it simple, and the confusion will magically go away. It'll come back, but you got to keep it simple again. Keep it simple, and you will be on your way. And where you are, it's all right. It's all right to be where you are, because you can't learn from nowhere else but from where you are. And you're going to where? Well, that's part of the journey is the thing. It ain't, where you get there, it's the journey. You going through all this, you say, oh, but I got to make this money. I got to make this. No, calm down. Calm down. You'll make the money. But right now, you have to launch. And what are you launching? Launch your business and learn from all the people that know some things and say, okay, all right. Thank you, John. You did a good job as wonderful. And I appreciate you bringing the cash flow quadrant in and the elbowing in real good. And you can have it back. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eddie. One question for you. Where's your superhero shirt? Okay. Well, while Eddie's getting his proper attire on, let's hear from Scott Barker.
Yes. Hello, John. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Scott.
I think the two things that came to my mind. One, about the nature of indecision. I've been thinking about this in a different context over the last few days, and I think I've come to an understanding. Everything we do from a psychological perspective has a reason behind it, including indecision. And I think indecision serves as a self-protective mechanism. It stops us from, in a way, it's sabotaging ourselves, but intentionally. Well, not intention, not from the conscious level, but subconsciously, it is an intentional stopping of ourselves from reaching beyond what we honestly believe we are capable of achieving. In the sense that William James made a point, and I'm sure you've heard of it, the will to do springs from the knowledge that we can do. So what that means from a negative perspective is that you will not seek to reach beyond what you honestly believe that you yourself are capable of achieving. Because if you do so, then obviously it's pointless to go for something that you honestly do not believe you can achieve. Now, whether someone else has achieved it or not is irrelevant, because there are ways the mind will play tricks on you and justify that person is special, they're different, they're unique, they're not like you. The mind will keep you into your sort of potential bubble of possibilities in a huge number of ways. And so I think indecision is a self-protective mechanism, and it serves its purpose. So the question then is to expand your perception of what is possible for you. And I think when you do that, indecision subsides, because then it serves no purpose. Because if you know your reach is getting further and further and further in terms of what you can achieve yourself, then indecision stops having a place. You don't need to protect yourself anymore, and the mindset changes. So I think you have to think of indecision not so much as a bad thing in itself, but as a symptom of something else that's trying to protect you. So what you need to do is build yourself up so you don't need that protection. That's that perspective. And also too, I think when you talk about delegating and managing situations, managing businesses and so forth, and not doing the things that you're not good at, I understand where you're coming from in that. But I think it's very important that you have to know enough to be able to monitor the people that you've delegated to. You can't just put your hands up and say, all right, I left it to them. They know everything. I know nothing. So I'm going to let them go. You can't do that. I worked in a hospital, and what I found is, I knew, because I worked from the ground up, and I developed management from the ground up, and people had to listen to what I say when I told them to do something, because I knew that if they didn't do it, I knew what it looked like when they didn't do it. And so that, and I found constantly I had to check everything. When I asked people to do something, I could never assume that it was done properly. The moment I assumed it was done properly is when I would have to do it myself at the end of the shift and run overtime, because, they'd forget, they're distracted, something would happen, because their focus wasn't my focus. Okay, my focus was getting the job done absolutely no matter what. Theirs may have been just to finish the shift and go home, and to hell with it. The perspective is different. So you need to have enough knowledge to monitor effectively. And I saw this in nursing. When nursing moved from hospital-based training to academic training, the perspective the mindset changed totally. And nursing, I think, took a huge dive in quality, in the sense that with the nurses who came through, learnt from the ground up. They buddied up with other nurses and they learnt on the ward, and they really developed an understanding of every aspect of nursing. So then when they moved to specialties like theatre or recovery or other specialties of nursing, their knowledge base was so solid, and it was they were the best nurses. And then when you had a top-down approach, like an academic approach coming in, what you found is that they were out of their depth very, very quickly. They had the knowledge to monitor, to manage other nurses, in the sense that they understood the basics of what was going on, but the depth wasn't there. And so I think the knowledge you need to have to monitor the authority you've delegated, I think you need to have that. It doesn't need to be in depth, but it's enough to monitor so you know when things go wrong. And that's the knowledge I think the nurses have now, enough to monitor, but they don't have enough to actually do the job to the level of excellence they used to. And that's why a lot of places doing nursing, for example, have moved back to the old model, because they just made better nurses. So they weren't concerned about, the status of the academic status of having a PhD in nursing or something, which is basically, excuse my expression, bugger all useless. You needed people on the ground, and that knowledge base, like you had nurses who had been in the system 30, 40 years, their knowledge base, their understanding, their intuitive awareness of what was going on was unparalleled. And when they were let go, it was a huge loss to everyone, to the patients, to the staff, to all the people that they were trained, that they were teaching, because you could not academically give that knowledge. You had to be there at the coalface. So that's why when we delegate, we can't be ignorant of the whole process. We can't, we can't be ignorant of taxation, for example. We can't be ignorant of design aspects. We need to have a finger in there, at least so we know when it's going wrong. And there are resources on YouTube, on internet. We can get an idea. We can understand things much better than we think we can. And because sometimes people will rip us off, sometimes people will make mistakes. And if we don't know enough to discern that, then we're going to be throwing money out the window and wasting our time. So we need to have a certain amount of knowledge to delegate, but still monitor. We can't not monitor. We've always got to monitor, because no one's going to have their interest in our business and our situation as we will. Like no one's going to take care of your children as you will. That's why you watch them like a hawk, because they're not you. They're not the biological, don't have the biological attachment. Same sort of thing. Anyway, that's my 10 cents worth.
Thank you, Scott. Well, as you were talking, I'm hearing the balance there. Okay. So whereas I do have understanding of the inflow and outflow of money, I don't have understanding of tax code. And I have trust. Here's the balancing factor. And the whole reason that economies and civilizations can exist is that it's built on trust. Okay. Scott, do you go to the factory where they're molding, coffee cups and weaving t-shirts and stuff? I mean, there's a certain amount of trust there that they shall produce what they said they would produce. Right. And if that trust broke down, I mean, that's it. That's the end of everything. Right. I mean, when I put food in my mouth, right, I trust that the guy who cooked it, it's not, poison or whatever. Right. So just trust.
But you need to be able to discern when you see the finished product if something was done wrong. You need to be able to look at it. For example, you come into a house that you just bought, and if you don't know anything about houses or carpentry or anything like that, you won't look under the shelf. You won't look at the hinges. You won't look at these little things that, if you have a bit of awareness, you would look at. Now, I'm noticing, for example, in the house we've got, we bought this house as it was, it was brand new at the time, years ago. And it was only after a while we realized there are certain things where they've cut corners, like the number of screws they put in the door hinges, the way they've finished off the cabinetry work underneath where you can't see. These things I would have, if I'd known, I would have looked for them, because I didn't know enough. I mean, I don't have to know everything, but I didn't know enough to be able to discern that there was sub-quality workmanship here. If I'd known that, I would have cut the price down. But at the time, I didn't know it. That's why a little bit of knowledge, you don't have to have a lot, but a little bit of knowledge can
Well,
be
did you
very
hire an
powerful.
inspector? I did. Yeah, come and check out the house, right? And he didn't catch everything, okay, but it
Yeah.
was, go ahead and buy the house. Here's the problems that we see, you know. So I mean, I'm not a carpenter, man. I don't know this stuff. Now you show me an engine or something, I know all about machinery, you know.
It's a balance. You're right. It's a balance, though. Yeah.
All right. And I don't know how to make coffee cups, right? There's like a heat, and then there's the porcelain or some sort of a substance, right? And then mold. I don't know, right? I'm never gonna know. I'm not that interested. Anyway, thank you, Scott. All right.
No worries.
Hey, we got Alec and then Shaquille, and then we got to wrap up. Hey, Alec.
How are you doing, sir? Really,
I'm good.
I'll just keep this very short because I know we are already running low on time and Shaquille still needs to speak. But I just wanted to say thank you to everybody because today you just you said that that people do have the tendency to overwhelm themselves, which I realized I have been doing ridiculously. Like, hey, well, let me learn Etsy. Hey, let me learn Amazon. Hey, let me learn eBay. And all of this just because I felt like I knew enough about Gear Bubble. I didn't know everything about Gear Bubble. I just felt like I knew enough to move on and move on. And that really was not the case. And I even noticed a big change in my mood. And I've been procrastinating on a lot of stuff just because I do get overwhelmed. And it's like, oh, you know what? Well, I've been working out since I can remember. So yeah, let me go work out. That'll be real easy. That I know how to do. So that's like, okay, let me go ahead and go do that. But it's really just me shying away or just being scared of just always feeling overwhelmed. And you did say that that people should worry about themselves, worry about us being a rock. And I haven't worried about me being the rock. I've been more worried about me just turning into pebbles and shiny object syndrome. It's just like, hey, well, let me go do that because that'll be easy. That'll be easy. And Scott was saying right now that it is good to know enough. You don't have to know everything, but it is good to know enough about what it is you're doing so that you can at least identify when something is going wrong. And I haven't even been doing that. I haven't been doing that since the beginning because everything since the beginning has just been a shiny object. It's just like, hey, well, you know what? Let me go do that because they'll take care of it. They'll take care of it. And then I got reminded last night actually that I should probably focus more on me being the rock as opposed to everybody doing everything for me, just kind of worried about, hey, well, I'm not going to worry about it. They'll take care of it. So thank you, everybody, for your comments. And yes, I will still be here every day because that's what I do.
Yeah.
And this
Good.
does, Eddie did say earlier that this was a very good class to go ahead and keep your mindset, just to get your mind right. And this is a very good class to do that. So thank you, everybody, and y'all have a good day.
You too. Hey, I'm seeing a bit of a tricep over there. So apparently something's working, right? So you just said it. You know how to work out. You've been doing it forever. Habits right there. It worked. All right. By the way, Alec, do you know a good veterinarian Alec?
We have so many veterinarians here. Like,
Yeah. I need
we
I need a good veterinarian because my pythons are sick.
that's a good one. Thank
You walked
you.
right into that one. All right. Shaquille, save me, Shaquille. Save me.
That was a good one, John.
Very funny.
That was an awesome dad joke. Oh, but yeah, I also wanted to say, yeah, man, Alec, I see you, man. You do look pretty diesel, dude. You know, I noticed. But yeah, I don't think I'm getting ready to say anything too profound, but I kind of just wanted to touch on some things here regarding indecision. And you know, that's also a battle that I fight too. You know, I was born in like I'm a middle child. So like I feel like I kind of got set up to be in the middle of like a lot of stuff and like be having to choose. And a lot of times I feel like the inability to make a decision comes from weighing too many opportunity costs, in that it's like kind of anticipating what is this going to cost me to like partake in this activity. Is it going to cost me a lot of time? Is it going to cause me distress in feeling incompetent? Because like a lot of times we enjoy partaking in activities that we're competent at. Kind of like Alec brought up, he's like, hey, I don't know everything about, like Etsy or eBay, but I'm good at working out. So let me go and do that so I can feel productive. And like a lot of times to me, well, yeah, yesterday I would say, the day kind of flew by because like I felt like I was in that like money grab tunnel, just reaching at opportunities, but like I grabbed onto opportunities that kind of took me a long time to do them. Like one of them was filing my taxes, which I finally did. Like that took me a fair amount of time to do that. But it's like because I chose rather than what the outcome was, which is to, get it done. Like we love, done. But like I chose to embrace the challenges, to embrace the like cost of what it's gonna be, that like, it's gonna be boring. I'm not gonna feel like I know everything about it. And I'm probably not gonna, enjoy myself at all. But like choosing to embrace the cost rather than worrying about I'm not gonna have enough in here to get it done. So then I run away. It's like, nah, I'm gonna choose to fight and then just do it until it's over. And then like that like helps me to not be indecisive. But I guess like I'm the type of person who, like John, like you mentioned that you weren't too eager to hop into Final Cut Pro because of how long the manual was, and just like how much time you would have to put in to learning that, because you're just that type of person who likes to learn stuff. So you said nah, but like I'm the type who just like jumps in. The manual, what's that? I just jump in and start trying stuff. You know what I mean? Because I know that I'm also that kind of person where I want to know. I just want to know. But it's like, I know how long it's going to take to know. So I'm just like, screw it. I'm just going to jump in because I'm going to figure it out. It's like riding a bike or, or like learning to ride a pogo stick, which is actually really fun. But like you kind of just try it out. If you fall over, you fall over. If you screw up, you screw up. If you suck, you suck. Just get over it. You just kind of have to be okay with that, because that period is not going to be forever that you feel like an idiot or that you're incompetent. It's not going to last forever. It is going to be uncomfortable, but it's just kind of a thing that you got to embrace rather than trying to really be competent at everything. I feel like I say this a lot, but you kind of have to really be okay with like feeling stupid or like just not being the best, because if you if you spend enough time in an area, you're going to get better. Like that's something that I believe. So as far as indecision goes, you kind of have to prioritize all the stuff that's floating in front of you and see which fight you're willing to engage in the most, and to just have faith that you're not going to be depleted by the activity, that you're going to come out of it fine and with enough energy to do the next thing. Because like you always say, action begets action. And once you shoot, because you might even be shocked at how easy the thing that you were putting off turned out to be. And so that can actually inspire you and give you momentum to keep on fighting and keep swinging. So, I guess that's my 2 cents. I'll leave it at that.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Shaq.
Appreciate you.
And Arlene said that you remind her of Sly and the Family Stone. So you guys, Sly and the Family Stone. We're going back into the music archives here, guys.
Do you know
Here
what
we
I've heard
go.
before?
Here we go. Is that him? Is that the guy?
That's lit. That's lit.
All right. Well,
Milli Vanilli. I've heard Milli Vanilli before.
okay. Well, good to see you all. We're already past the top of the hour. I'm going to be back here with you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Fun Friday. Bring a dog or a cat. Definitely a joke. Somebody's got to tell a joke. All right. So, but in the meantime, get focused, right? Get good at something, right? And then, and then diversify. So anyway.